Hey guys, Brian Delivers You the Goods here. Just thought I'd return to you this early evening for another album or EP review this time. It's another release from Daughtry that I got a chance to listen to for Shock to the System Part 2. I know Part 1 came out last year, September 27th of 2024. And yeah, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the 7 tracks on this 25-minute extended play and let you know my thoughts on the short album overall. So let's dive into this EP review this early evening. Now it starts with The Seeds, which is a pretty solid intro track. It's only like 56 seconds going into the next song, Divided. But overall, the way it sounds instrumentally and melody structure wise, it did alright for how it was, so I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Then comes Divided, which is a pretty strong track. I really enjoyed Chris Daughtry singing in this one. Sounded very strong, and execution wise overall, the drumming and guitar work was very good in this, so very impressed with this track. Definitely rocks. 5 out of 5. The Day I Die was one of the singles for the record. This song came out like late April. I think it was April 25th, if I remember correctly. But overall, it was a very strong track. I really enjoyed Chris Daughtry singing in this, and the drumming and guitar work is pretty strong from this track, and it was probably one of my favorite singles for this record, and still is a favorite song to this day. 5 out of 5. The Bottom is a pretty good song, but it wasn't one of my favorites. Looking back at it now, I wouldn't say this was something that I was crazy about, but I think is okay. So it's a 4.75 out of 5. Pretty good song in its own way, but I do have a few critiques with how the mixing and production is on this track. But Chris Daughtry singing is very good in this track. Terrified is a pretty good song in its own way. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites as well, but it's solid enough to get you through the listen for this extended play. The chorus is alright, but the verses are probably the highlight for this song, so 4.75 out of 5 for Terrified. Not a bad song, but a pretty good song in its own way. It plays it safe. Razor is a pretty good one. It's the second to last track before you get to the closing track, and overall it did very well for how it sounded. I think with Chris Daughtry's singing in this is very strong. This is almost a 5-minute song, but it does very well with the execution, and I'm very impressed with this track. So another 5 out of 5 for this one. Really enjoyed this track, and I really enjoyed the melody and how it sounded overall, mixing and production wise. So it did fairly well for how it sounded. So, and Chris Daughtry's vocals were very strong in this. Antidote Full Mix is a 4-minute and 11-second track. It's the closing track to the record. Sounds really nice for the most part. It closes out the record pretty well for this EP overall. But it does very well with Chris Daughtry's vocals, and mixing and production wise, it did fairly well. I think there was piano work in this as well. I don't know. I have to go back and listen to it again. Sorry about that. My pen dropped on the floor. But overall, I got distracted and it just slipped through my fingers. So, overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Daughtry's Shock to the System Part 2 is a really good EP. It's probably better than the last EP, or at least about the same. Um, I don't know. I thought the last EP was good, but it wasn't like one of my favorites. But this one is probably a favorite of mine. This was a strong EP, and from what I listened to for Daughtry's Shock to the System Part 2, it's worth the listen. So if I were to give Daughtry Shock to the System Part 2 score. I'm feeling a very strong 9 out of 10. A really good record. Definitely recommend this 7-track EP. It is an extended play. It's a short album. It's only 25 minutes, so you're not in for a long listen, but you're in for almost half an hour of material. So, other than that, 9 out of 10 for Daughtry Shock to the System Part 2. Hope you enjoyed this EP review this afternoon, or this early evening, I meant to say. I'm sorry, I'm getting my times mixed up and my hours mixed up and all that. So, basically, I will return to you for another quick track review, then I'll get to some movie reviews afterwards. But until then, you guys have a good rest of your early evening, and I'll see you in my next review. Thanks for watching.